You missed it. We all did. The whole internet is losing their minds over Dakota Johnson in the Verity trailer, but they entirely missed the one frame at the 119 mark that settles the debate once and for all. She isn't in a coma. In that single objective camera shot, Verity Crawford opens her eyes, and she's looking right at Lowen. This movie isn't giving you a choice between the letter and the manuscript. It's making a definitive statement that the manuscript is 100% true. Verity is a predator, and she's been running this game from her bed the entire time. By the end of this video, you'll realize why everyone who read the book is about to be utterly terrified. Let's start at the very beginning of the trailer, because director Michael Showalter is hiding things in plain sight. First, the color language. The first thing you notice, if you're actually looking, is the color palette. Every single scene featuring Lowen Ashley, Dakota Johnson's character, is bathed in cold, desaturated blues and grays. She is visually coded as the outsider, the intruder, the person who does not belong in this world. But Verity Crawford's spaces, warm amber, deep burgundy, the colors of old blood and candlelight. This is not an accident. Showalter worked with cinematographer Cad Westergaard on the idea of You, same director, same Anne Hathaway, and that film used color temperature to signal emotional safety. Here, he's inverting that grammar. The warm colors aren't comfort, they're a trap. You're being seduced by the same palette that is consuming Lowen. But it gets even weirder when you look at who controls the light. In every shot where Lowen and Jeremy share the frame, the light source comes from off-camera. It's ambient, undefined, sourceless. But in every shot containing Verity, even when she appears to be unconscious in bed, there is a practical light source visible. A lamp, a window, a candle. She controls the light in her own home, even from a hospital bed. Think about what that means for the power dynamic this film is constructing. Second, the casting argument. Why Dakota Johnson is the perfect unreliable witness. Now let's talk about something that the internet has almost entirely gotten wrong. The casting of Dakota Johnson. Half the comments on this trailer are some version of, why her? And I'm going to argue that reaction is precisely why she is the correct choice. Dakota Johnson has spent the better part of a decade being underestimated on screen. The 50 Shades franchise conditioned audiences to read her as passive, as reactive, as someone things happen to, rather than someone who drives narrative. And Showalter is weaponizing that perception. Lowen Ashley is not a strong protagonist in the traditional sense. She is a woman who makes increasingly terrible decisions driven by financial desperation, loneliness, and an attraction she cannot rationalize away. She is, by definition, not someone you should fully trust as a narrator. And if you cast a commanding, traditionally strong actress in that role, someone who projects authority, you lose the ambiguity. You lose the creeping doubt. You need an audience that is slightly unsure whether to root for her. Johnson gives you that uncertainty for free, built into the cultural baggage she carries onto the screen. Meanwhile, Anne Hathaway has spent those same years rebuilding herself into something genuinely dangerous on screen. Go back and watch We Crashed, watch Eileen. This is not the Anne Hathaway of the Princess Diaries. This is an actress who has learned to weaponize her charm. That enormous smile, those expressive eyes, as a mask. She plays warmth as concealment better than almost anyone working today. Put those two energies in the same house, and you have a film where the audience can never be certain who is the predator and who is the prey. And that brings us to the moment everyone is talking about. Third, the bite scene, a frame-by-frame breakdown. At the 107 mark, we see Jeremy, Josh Hartnett, looking appropriately haunted, pull Lowen into a kiss in what appears to be a hallway near Verity's bedroom. The geography here is deliberate. They are kissing adjacent to the room where his wife lies dying. Showalter holds on that moral transgression for exactly 3 seconds. Then Lowen pulls back, and it's not Jeremy she's been kissing. It's Verity, smiling, with blood on her lips. Now, the surface reading here is psychological. Lowen is so consumed by the manuscript, so saturated in Verity's voice and perspective, that she is literally hallucinating Verity into her romantic life. The unreliable narrator has become so unreliable that her own senses are compromised. But the deeper reading, and this is where the cinematography does something extraordinary, is that Verity's smile in that frame is not the smile of someone who has been caught. It is the smile of someone who has succeeded. That is not a woman experiencing a hallucination that Lowen is projecting onto her. That is a woman who has engineered this moment, who has been running this entire situation from her bed, from her manuscript, from her carefully constructed performance of incapacitation. The blood is not random horror imagery. Blood in psychological thrillers almost always signals the moment when a hidden truth breaks the surface. Verity has bitten through Lowen's reality. She has punctured it. And now Lowen and the audience are infected. Wait until you see what this means for the ending. I've been tracking the production leaks for months, and here's something no one is talking about. In the original book, the letter was found in a floorboard. But in the trailer, we see Lowen holding a digital device. This confirms the movie is modernizing the evidence, which means the digital trail can't be faked as easily as a handwritten letter. This is a massive hint that the movie is leaning towards the manuscript being the absolute truth. Alright, here is where we go somewhere the rest of the internet isn't going yet. First, the unreliable narrator problem. In literary theory, an unreliable narrator is a storyteller whose credibility is fundamentally compromised, either through self-deception, manipulation, or limited perception. The concept was formalized by critic Wayne Booth in 1961, but it has never been more culturally relevant than it is right now, in the age of true crime podcasts and psychological thrillers where everyone has a hidden motive. The book Verity operates on a dual unreliable narrator structure. We have the manuscript, Verity's voice, confessing to monstrous things, and we have Lowen's first-person account of living in that house. The genius of Hoover's novel is that both narrators have reasons to lie, and the reader is left at the end holding two contradictory pieces of evidence with no objective third party to arbitrate between them. The letter suggests one truth, the manuscript suggests another. Here's what I think the movie is going to do, and why it changes everything. Why the film will abandon the binary. So, why would the movie commit to just one ending? See, the novel left the door ajar. It lets you wonder. But that shot, the one where Verity's eyes snap open and only the camera sees it, Lowen is completely oblivious. That is the director looking us dead in the eye and saying, guys, Verity is awake, and she's been performing this whole time. That single frame completely nukes the letter theory. The film is giving you a definitive answer. Verity committed every single crime detailed in that manuscript. The letter wasn't a confession of innocence. It was just one last performance. The Colleen Hoover effect. Colleen Hoover isn't just the author here. She's a producer and a screenwriter on this film. That means this ending, it was her choice. She's known the truth from the very beginning, and it feels like she's finally decided to lay it all out for us on the big screen. But wait, what if the director is playing us? What if Verity is the one controlling the camera itself? What if she's manipulating the lens to force us to see exactly what she wants us to believe? If that's the case, we aren't just viewers. We're her final victims. This trailer isn't just a preview, it's a warning. Anne Hathaway is about to dismantle everything you thought you knew about this story. October 2nd isn't just a premiere, it's the day we face the truth. Was the letter a desperate lie? Or is the manuscript the true face of a monster? Personally, I'm betting on the manuscript. Verity Crawford owns that house, and now she owns this entire movie. But I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now. Are you #Team Letter or #Team Manuscript? I'll be diving into all your theories. And if you want to stay ahead of the game with the darkest horror secrets of 2026, hit subscribe and join the Drama Crypt family. Don't let the truth stay buried. I'll see you in the next video, if you have the heart to keep watching.